Hello, my friends. This is Andy, and I'm here in Brea, California. Nice to see you guys. I'm coming on again just to talk a little bit more about a health breakthrough that I've recently had. But first, I got to tell you and explain why I'm coming on to my personal page and telling all of my friends about what's going on. I just want to make sure it's very clear. And that is when I first got told about CBD oil. You'd think being in law enforcement for as many years as I was and training narcotics dogs for as many years as I have, I'm approaching something like 35 years or something like that. I don't know. It's just way too long because I only feel, especially now because of CBD oil, I feel like I'm 25. But, excuse me, I've been talking all morning. I've been on podcasts. I've been on other people's shows talking about this and a bunch of other things. But I did not believe all the hype. I did not believe that it could do all the things that people were telling me that it was doing for them or for people that they had heard it was working for. And just being skeptical, right? I'm skeptical probably with everything. Like, right, you can't have something that does all those things. The United States, FDA, Food and Drug Administration, all these people have our best interest in mind, right? The pharmaceutical companies, have our best interest in mind. And I'm taking, drugs for high blood pressure, drugs for cholesterol. I was told I was pre-diabetic. And believing that this is probably, I'm getting the best advice, and this is the stuff that's it best interests me. And then lo and behold, I get cancer, and I'm listening a little bit more, right? I begin listening a little more, like, gosh, I'm mostly healthy in regard to my activity. I play hockey. I go to the gym. I eat really good for somebody who was a cop and on the move. And at night, I was eating very well. I didn't like eating fast food, all that kind of stuff. And yet, I still get cancer, right? I try to be as good of a person as possible, in spite of what my ex-wife says, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. And so, you know what? Darn it, I'm gonna listen a little bit closer to the CBD stories, and I begin to listen about a year ago when I start listening. Finally, enough people had told me, there's really no side effect that we've been able to find. Again, there could be some out there. I'm telling you, based on my experience and what I'm learning, and everything I'm about to tell you is based on my experience. I can't tell you that it's going to work for you. I'm not going to tell you it's going to work for you. I just know what a difference it's made for me and other people that I've talked to. All right, so people telling me about what it's doing for them, and I looked and I really didn't see anything that was saying that it'll cause you to have all these other kinds of things. Unlike the pharmaceutical commercials that come on and says this is great for making you in a better mood, except for you might die of a heart attack, you may grow a third foot. You may suffer from hemorrhoids for the rest of your life. All this list of stuff that you could happen. And but I found nothing like that with CBD oil. So I said, what the hell? About 4.5 weeks ago now, I gave it a shot, and lo and behold, I begin to see some changes right away. Right as soon as I start seeing it, the one I've been telling you about is one of the most important things that has happened to me in years is that I sleep. I've taken all kind, you name it, Tylenol PM, Ambien, blah blah blah. Get massages, do all the things I can. I just want to sleep. I just would sleep 2 to 3 hours a night, and if I did sleep, it would always be broken sleep, and then I wouldn't be able to get back to sleep, and it was a mess. It's been a mess for years since I was a cop. I'm talking years, not just like for the last couple of years. I'm talking about for as long as I can remember. I've had a horrible time sleeping, and so immediately the night of that I took my first 10 drops under my tongue, I slept like a baby. And woke up refreshed. Didn't wake up kind of lethargic. None of that, like you do with Tylenol PM sometimes or some of the other pharmaceuticals. Hey, Michelle. And then right away, it's just like the next day was so different. Like I just started to feel different. And then the next day, and sleeping better, and sleeping longer, and up to 8 hours. What? Yeah. My body wasn't used to it, so I had to wake up to go pee. But other than that, I was sleeping pretty good, right? And it's ever since then. 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks or something like that, 4.5 weeks that I've been doing it now. I should check the date before I came on. I've been sleeping so good. I'll wake up still in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom because I can't. That's kind of the thing. I got this horrible habit. But the difference is, if I'm awake, I go right back to sleep and wake up drooling on my pillow once again. Yeah, that's right, ladies. I'm single, and I could come drool on your pillow if you want. All right, so. Yeah, I got a little bit of cancer. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm making all these announcements. Yeah. So anyway, it's not that bad. It's just a little bit. It's that prostate, annoying kind of cancer. And so, oh my gosh. So I begin to take it. Sleep begins to get better. I'm thinking I got high blood pressure. I've had a high blood pressure for years. Since I was when I started testing as a police officer to be a police officer when I was 21. From that day is when I realized that I had high blood pressure. I really didn't have it checked before, so it could have been since a teenager. I went to LAPD, was testing. I went to have my medical test, and they said, "Dude, your blood pressure is sky high. You need to go in this room. We're going to turn off the lights, lay down, and then we'll come back and take your blood pressure." So they came in and took my blood pressure, in low lighting, in a quiet room where there was no outside interference, and I just barely passed on my medical because of my high blood pressure. So ever since then, it has been huge. Hey, Matthew Adams, I'm going to be talking about you, I'm sure, at some point during this show. Mark this name right here, Matthew Adams, and make sure and save it because I'm going to talk about something that's kind of happened since I've met Matthew. So, which is I started taking CBD oil, all right? So that's it. So I owe all of this to him. And so I go in, have my blood pressure taken after 3 weeks, and it's lower. And now, oh my gosh, I didn't bring the piece of paper because I like to show it on the camera, and it's 128 over 80 something, 81. Never been in the 120s as far as I ever know and can remember. And the guy who took my blood pressure said, "Wow, what are you doing?" I go, "I'm looking at where it's been. What did you do?" Right? And I go, "I've been taking my medication." And then I kind of slipped into him. He was a nurse and said, "I've been taking some CBD oil." And he looks around. He goes, "That stuff is awesome. It works for so many people, but I can't talk about it out loud." And so that's what he tells me. And so anyway, fantastic results. Remember I told you I was pre-diabetic? I all of a sudden get this email from my doctor and says, "Hey, you're no longer pre-diabetic. What happened?" And and I have the piece of paper, and I can show you. I will show you. Look at some of the past broadcasts that I've done, and pre-diabetes diagnosis completely gone. All right, so I'm at normal levels. All right, so why am I here today? If I've already told you all that stuff, what else could there be? And I think I shared a little bit that I've had anxiety things. I've been in I've been in a shooting. I've had people that I'm talking to shoot themselves, blow their brains out of their head all over the place. Right in front of me as I was talking to him, I've a baby that was on a mom who'd been stabbed to death, and she was all full of blood while she was tugging on her mom's shirt. And these are all happening day after day, and you can imagine that after a period of time it begins to get you a little bit, and you get a little bit of anxiety. So I'm sharing all this stuff. You guys are learning more about me than I know you care to know. However, I want to show you what's so great about CBD oil, and I'm still going to get to the point why I'm on here on my personal page telling you about it. I'm going to explain why, because some of you could be saying, "Well, now I noticed you're in the business," and there's a reason why. So this anxiety, and which is probably another symptom of my lack of ability to sleep. Is that right? I'm not sure. Is because I also noticed that those feelings that I was having on a weekly to biweekly period of time were virtually non-existent. I was not having any anxiety feelings. I was clear-headed. I felt a lot better. I was processing things faster. I was thinking faster. I was getting more work done. I wasn't procrastinating as much, and not as stressed about certain things that would normally stress me out. And those have virtually been gone. All right, so now today. Why am I on today? So yesterday I had a meeting with my ex-wife. We're going through the divorce process. We have some things that we're going through right now that are just not fun whatsoever. All right, I'm going to tell you right now another secret about me that I just don't tell anybody except for my ex knows about it. But when I get into situations where it's just, I know it's going to be bad, which everything that has to do with the divorce is bad, at least right now, other than when I come home to my kids and see their beautiful smiling faces. They are the best thing on this planet. All right, so anything that has to deal with, custody, has to do with their schooling, because she's insisting on homeschooling and all this other kind of stuff. I'm only sharing you just so you know that there's a little bit of stuff going on that up to about 4.5 weeks ago, it would just churn my stomach, and I'd be in the bathroom doing, getting, just having diarrhea. I have to share with you just all of that. Those of you that have stress and have those stress symptoms and things that happen know what I'm talking about. And when I know going in, so I knew I had this meeting, right? 2 days leading up to this meeting, I would have normally been in the bathroom 3-4 times a day, just with an upset stomach. All right, and not telling anybody. None of you know this, right? None of you know this happens. But if you see, it's my stomach, because I internalize it. I could be laughing and smiling on the outside, but I internalize it, and it causes all this stuff to happen. And again, I can even have somebody tell the world that this is one of the things that happened. So I had this meeting yesterday. It went horribly wrong. We're lucky that we got out of there unscathed, and went to this meeting. It went horribly wrong. Got called a bunch of names, got told a whole bunch of nasty things, and I came out because I know what the truth is, and I know where I stand is in the best interest of the children, and just I was okay with that, right? I was perfectly fine the rest of the day in regard to restroom issues, right? Nothing, not even affected. I'm telling you, you have no idea how bad it is. It is bad. It is one of those things that if I get even the slightest bit of stress or worry about something, it completely does something to my digestive system and causes it to go haywire. And nothing, I'm telling you, nothing but normalcy in my restroom habits. I don't know what to tell you. This is the only thing. The CBD oil is the only thing that I've changed in my life in the last month, in the last 4.5 weeks. Again, maybe Matthew can remind me when I bought for the first time, but it has been only a month, and all of these things are happening. So the next reason why I'm doing these broadcasts on my personal page is I want to tell you that if you know something that you can help people with, if you have something in your brain, and this is one thing I've learned, and I see Nicole's on, one of my most favorite people on the planet, and right next to her is April, my other most favorite person on the planet. And Nicole is from a group of people where we discuss this, where we say that if you know something, if there's something you have in that head of yours, you owe it to the world, you owe it to other people to let it out, to tell people about it, so that you can hopefully help people with something that they may be going through. This includes, I think, the CBD oil. I'm telling you that I don't care if you go and buy it from some other source, some other resource. I don't care at all. I want you, if you think it fits, if you do the research and find that it's something that you're willing to try and give it a shot. There's still some THC in the type that I'm using, so if you're getting tested and you can't have that in your blood, I would wait about a month or so, and they're going to have one that has no THC. But I have an obligation. Back to why I'm doing this is because I feel that if I know that I'm getting the results from something, which is the only thing that I've changed in my life, that I owe it to other people. And I know that it's important, and I know that it's important that other people give it a shot. If it was only affecting April, I got to put you up really quick because I'm getting uncomfortable here. If the CBD oil only helped my sleeping, I would still be on here telling you about it because it's incredible what it's done in regard to my sleep. Right? I don't know I lost the feeling of what it's like to sleep. I don't care if I'm traveling or at home. It doesn't matter. I have not slept in years. Decades. I can't even say years. I have not slept in decades like I've slept every day for the last month. Again, do I wake up every so often? I absolutely do. But the trick is, the difference is that I go back to sleep, right? If one of my kids come in and says, "Dad, I'm scared. Can you come and hug me and hold me?" I can do that and I'll fall asleep in their bed, right? And I don't wake up all groggy and all messed up because of something that I'm taking. There's nothing like this CBD oil that when I wake up that I'm fresh, I'm awake. I'm clear-headed. I get more done than I've ever got done before, and so I feel just if it just helped you with something like that, then I'm obligated to tell you about it. I have no choice. The blood pressure. And my blood pressure has been high since I've been in my teens, I'm sure, and I know for sure since I was 21 when I was tested at LAPD, LA County Sheriff, Anaheim Police Department, Fullerton Police Department, all the police departments I was trying to get hired onto. They all said I had high blood pressure, so I know that I've had it ever since. And so, if that was the one thing, I owe it to you to tell you about that. If it's the pre-diabetes diagnosis that's now been erased, if that was the one thing I tell you about it. But my gosh, I'm telling you that I have about 4 or 5 things that that have changed in my life during this month, and I just so happen to be taking CBD oil. All right, it just so happens that all of these things have gotten better. If it's mental, let's just say that it's all in my head, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. When they give you a sugar pill and you have relief. What is that called? Somebody write it right away, quick. Placebo. I didn't need it. If it's a placebo effect, who cares, right? I really don't care. I'm going to tell you, hey, I took the stuff, and the placebo effect was I got healthy. I'm going to tell you, hey, give it a shot. Maybe take the CBD oil, and you'll have the same placebo effect. All right, so that's what I'm telling you. Now, why did I decide to get in and say, let me be a distributor to help people out? Is because I'm gaining so much information, number one, and there's this commercial that comes on of this family, this husband and wife. They've got blinds for their windows, and they said they love the company so much that they bought it. That is my goal. If I can... at some point, Ed Rush, who's a friend of mine out of San Diego, he says, dream big and tell people and have a goal that's so big that if you tell somebody, they'll say that you're crazy. That's my goal. It's so big that you're going to tell me I'm crazy. I love this so much that I'm going to buy the company. And so this is where it starts. It starts with me getting involved in the company, learning everything I possibly can know about the company, the bad, the ugly, and the fantastic. And at some point, if it continues, I'm going to buy this company. And that is my crazy goal, that if you hear it, you're going to tell me I'm crazy. But I'm going to tell you that is my plan. All right, so... Let me get to some of these comments. Wow, I got a lot of comments that I've been ignoring. So Gina... nice visual of you drooling. Am I drooling? No, I was sobbing like a little girl. Don't tell anybody. Thanks for being so vulnerable and open. It's refreshing. Somebody just popped in. I'm using a new platform, and so this is kind of fun. You can tell that I'm kind of fiddling with it a little bit. It's new to me. Thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate it. Thanks. I appreciate it. Wayne Purnell, what's going on? Everybody knows I'm crazy. You don't need a big goal to be told that you are. Wait, you're right. Actually, I'm pretty sure. Dream big, my friend. Dream huge. That is huge. Go Andy. How is CBD oil affecting your memory there? It's good. I remembered placebo without any help. Nobody wrote in here placebo, and I remembered. All right. Thank you very much. Dream huge. I just saw that one. Wendy Howard Rice. James Coco says that there's somebody that he knows was talking about Wendy Howard Rice was talking about it. Good. So she'll get linked to this Facebook Live. Thank you for doing that. April did write placebo, but I didn't see it before I said it. There's still I think this has about a 15-second delay before things show up. Has anyone tried theanine for sleep issues and anxiety? I hear it's an amazing herb for kids and adults. That's a good one. I will definitely look into that too. I know that I just watched a great video. If you see this logo right here, this today's CBD oil, that's my Facebook page. I'm going to go ahead and put a link somewhere. I can't do it while I'm on this platform. That's the only thing I can't do. I can't comment while I'm in the platform that you're looking at right now. But after I'm done, I'll put a link that goes to today's CBD. I put a video in there of a TED Talk from a guy by the name of, is it Chad Stanley, I think it is. Great TED Talk, and it talks about how it's helped children with different types of ailments. I don't know the exact name of the ailment that this child had, but they were having seizures and that kind of stuff, and it was helping. I know that there's a lot of research being done and videos I've watched on autistic children and other types of issues like that. April is a friend of mine who we just did an interview about autism awareness, which is this month of April, and so it's heavy on my mind. I've been watching about it and learning some more things about it, and so I know it's been helping. Oh, thank you, Matthew, for putting it in there. So Matthew Adams, I told you I was going to tell him. So Matthew Adams is the guy who finally broke through and said, Andy, just give it a shot. And then even he told me, I said, yeah, I'll do it. And then he emailed, hey, have you gotten that stuff? No, I've been busy. He goes, here, you just give it a shot. And I, no, yeah, maybe. And he stuck with me. And he didn't force me, didn't say anything. He just said, here's some more testimonials. It helps people with their dogs. There's some great dog testimonies. If you have a dog that has some ailments, can't walk. I just saw a video of a dog that could barely get up, and they gave CBD oil to this dog, and over a period of time, now you see the dog going up and down stairs. Craziness with dogs, emotional problems, anxiety with dogs, that kind of stuff. So it's fantastic. But videos and stuff like that. So he's sending those to me. Matthew's sending them to me and saying, just look at this and just see. And he's sending me more stuff that I can look at and analyze, and then look at the alternatives and the comments. And finally, I just decided, Matthew, I'm gonna get something, and I get it, and now you're seeing the results. So Matthew Adams is my guy. Make sure and click on his name and send him a message if you have any questions. But what the funny thing that's interesting about this whole thing, since I've been posting, is now suddenly I've become the expert in CBD oil, apparently. And it really goes to show you that, again, back to my friends there in San Diego, which Nicole is one of those members of our team down there, is that we talk about that if you just know something an hour before somebody, you're an expert. You're an expert to that person that you know an hour before they find out about it from you. And so I've been getting tons of questions, and the ones I can't answer, I send to Matthew. And so don't be offended if I say, you know what, I'm not sure, but let's see what Matthew has to say about it. And he has the answers. And if he doesn't have the answer, he doesn't make it up. And if he doesn't think it's going to benefit you, he'll tell you that he doesn't think it's going to benefit you. And he also knows where to look and knows who to go to find the answers. So that's what's great about Matthew, is that he just doesn't say, yeah, it's good for you. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. No, he doesn't do that. Now, if you tell me that this stuff helps a child talk, I'm in. I know. I wish I could tell you that, April. I wish that could help. I love seeing your son on video. Momo is a great kid, and if it could, would that not be something that would be awesome? I cannot find out to see how it works on my cancer. I'm not sure if I'm taking what needs to be taken in order for it to affect that. I know that people have said that the CBD oil has helped them with their cancer, or the treatments that they're getting because they have cancer, and that is obviously one thing that we know for sure that it works with and has helped people. Or at least I know that there's people that have given testimonies that it does. I can't tell you that I know for sure that it helps. I have to be careful because I know friends that have gotten their Facebook pages shut down because they're talking about CBD oil, and there could be a chance that just me talking about it will get my page shut down, which is strange because it's not the narcotic that people tend to make it sound out to be. It's not like that at all. All right, so there you go. Matthew, did I miss anything? I would bring you on right now if I could, but I'm in this new platform that it's called Just Broadcaster for Facebook, and it's working pretty good. I like it. I can see the comments, as you can see, and put them up. I can see the likes and thumbs up and how many people are watching. I can do a lot of stuff. I can share a video if I wanted to, and you would be able to hear it, the audio, and it does it so well, and it sounds so good. I just tested it on the Facebook Live TV show. So that's it for me. The link is in there. Maybe, Matthew, you could put it in there one more time since you're watching. Oh, no, you did just put it in there. It's just right there. And so if you, again, I would love for you to hit the link that's there that says today's CBD oil, but this isn't what this is for. What these videos are for is to tell you the results of what I'm getting from CBD oil. If you choose to try somebody else's, go somewhere else, make your own in your kitchen, as long as you're giving it a shot to see if it will help. I think that's important. But again, research it. Make sure that where you're getting it is a place that knows what they're doing it correctly. Know about the THC levels and what they're in there. Know what your if you're an employee, know what your employer says about THC and being tested, drug tested, that kind of stuff. That's important to know before you start taking it. And if that's a problem, just wait. HempWorks is going to come up with a version that has no THC whatsoever, and then you're good to go. And it's not that big of a deal. Do doctors typically steer people away from oil? Is there evidence that doctors are beginning to be more encouraging about using it? This is a bad thing about this. I'm going to have them fix this. It pops up when somebody comments. I've seen a few videos on some doctors that are accepting it into as a possible solution, but not very many. Of course, we know that when I brought it up in Kaiser, both employees at Kaiser, which was not my doctor, I've not told him yet, but both the people that I talked to, both before they said anything, looked around to see if anybody was near them. So I know that they know well enough that it's probably not a subject matter that they can speak about in Kaiser. All right, so that's for sure. And I hope it's okay that I said Kaiser. I know something's going to happen because I said Kaiser. But how many times have I said Kaiser? Kaiser upset me because they tried to kill me the last time I was there. That's even worse. And I can tell you the story about that too if you want to hear it. What benefit do you get from the THC being in the oil? I don't see any. I've not seen anything that it helps to have it in there. I think it's just not easy to get it out. And I've seen people say THC, the amount of TC or the THC is in there or not helps either way. It's the CBD oil is what helps you. The THC is not related to anything that has to do with the thing that it does for you. Hey, Cheryl Piper Schneider. I like that. It's a tongue teaser. My mom and dad. Dad's on college had no issues with my parents using the oil, but they did encourage them to use it in conjunction with chemo. Sure, and I'm guessing that I would go along with that same thing. April is everywhere. I know. I see April everywhere. Stephen Healy was on, and her and I were on at the same time, keeping him from getting his tea. All right, is there anything else going on here? There's some good comments going on there. Hey, Dale, I missed that earlier. April and Cheryl saying hi. All right. Yep, it's everywhere. So I think I covered it all. I told you, again, I kind of rehashed all the stuff that it's been helping me with, and it's still holding. Right, that's the other important thing, I guess, is to point out is that it wasn't just temporary. I've heard some people say that it temporarily worked for them, and I can't explain that, and that's, could be for them. That's kind of what happened with them. I don't see that a lot, though. I've only seen it once or twice from the people that I've looked at as far as testimonials. So that's, I guess that's a possibility that you begin taking it and it works for a little while and it doesn't. But I'm on, again, I believe, going into my fourth and going into my fifth week, that it's still holding pretty strong and actually causing still a drop in my blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. I am going to begin to go back to a diet that kind of reduces some of the things that I know will help my blood pressure. That way I can get off my blood pressure medication altogether. That's my goal. As I said before, I did talk to my doctor about it. He says, you're close, but we still need you to take it. So I'm not low enough to where I can stop taking my medication. Again, he does not know that I've added CBD oil to my diet. And so I'm not going to tell him until after he tells me to stop using my blood pressure medication. Then I'll let him know. But he's a pretty cool doctor. I really do like him. He's a guy that I could go out and have a beer with and watch hockey with. He seems like a pretty cool dude. All right, April says there are so many different companies producing oil, and I would love to give it a whirl. But, gosh, I have such anxiety about using new things and unsure what it is. I should be researching to discern what is the best for me and or my son. I am with you, April, 100%. I wish it did a better job of letting that stay up there and letting me decide if I want to pull it down. But yeah, you're again, April. I was there a year ago, and I am not going to tell you to rush that process whatsoever. I'm not going to tell you to even use HempWorks. I'm going to tell you that this is what the stuff is that I'm using right now. The stuff, the HempWorks CBD oil that I'm using is what I'm using. It's working really well. And based on my research, there's a lot of people that really kind of seem to have done the same kind of research and landed with HempWorks. And so there's other people that are in the testimonial group that I have access to, that Matthew has given me access to, and there's people that have kind of said that same thing, that based on what they've decided and researched and taken and that kind of stuff, that it's landed them with HempWorks. And then there's the issue of just your own personal feelings about taking something. Again, I was a police officer for 21 years. Are you kidding me? I'm going to start taking something like something that people have a stigma over, which is the marijuana and the narcotic effect that they talk about it, and that it's a gateway drug, and what was it called, red asphalt, but that had to do with drinking. But either way, the devil drug and all that kind of stuff. And so I wasn't that keen on taking it. However, there is a point where you say, you know what? So far, these other things really don't seem to be, I just have to be taking more, right? I had to increase my blood pressure medication, right? It wasn't that it was getting better. It wasn't curing me. It was just kind of holding me and keeping me at a level, but yet still I was raising up. Nothing that I was taking was reducing and keeping and helping me with what was going on. None of the things, right? And so that's when I decided, you know what? I really began to think about it. I said, nothing is helping me with a cure per se. I'm not saying this cure is curing me, but at least I'm seeing a significant drop. At least it's helping me get the sleep that I need to be healthy. At least it's giving me the sleep that I need, and possibly having an effect on my anxiety so that I'm not yelling at my kids inappropriately, which I'm going to tell you has happened, where they've done something very minor. Let's say spilt a glass of milk. And because at that moment I'm at such a high anxiety level that I do say, hey, and I have this voice, and they go, oh my God, they look at me like I'm the Hulk. And it is because of that. And I've had none of that during the last 4 weeks. And again, not that it happens every day. Please don't call Child Protective Services on me. But, we've all been there. If you have kids, you've all been there, where whatever's going on at work, whatever's going on with the wife or ex-wife or ex-husband, whatever's going on, they all kind of build up. And then you have this moment where it happens, and you just like, I'm going to kill somebody, right? And you don't have to have anxiety or anything to do that. But I can tell you that I've had no incidents where I felt like, you know what, it happens, right? Something breaks on the ground, it happens. Let's get it cleaned up, and we take appropriate action, and we have an appropriate reaction to that kind of thing. And that is the greatest feeling whatsoever. And the kids kind of go, okay, here's one thing. They did something where normally I would have lost my cool, right? Normally it was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me, right? For the 10th time you've done the same thing that I told you not to do. And it happens, and you can see like they're going, oh, shot, right? They go, oh, shot. They don't say shit because they're young, but you can see it in their face, like, and they're going, Dad's gonna explode, and they turn and they go, oh. And they're going, that's okay, let's just figure out how we can clean this up. Let's talk about how we can keep that from happening again. And they're like, wait a minute. What did you do with my dad? Normally, you would be so pissed. We'd all be in our rooms. All of our electronics would be in the trash can, which I've done before. I take all their electronics, I throw it in the trash. And none of that happened, right? We sat down, we held hands a little bit, we prayed, we talked about it and said, let's just figure out how we can keep this from happening, because, again, this has happened more than once. Let's try to figure it out. And you can see they're almost so stunned, like, shoot. Whatever. So there we go. God, I went on a whole tangent there. Beer and hockey with your doctor, eh? Yeah. Is a cool guy. Dr. Noda. Dr. Noda is a guy that I could go and have a beer, play and watch hockey and have a good time. We joke. We almost can't get out of the room because we can just keep joking around and talking about stuff. And he goes, and when he has to do the check, you know the one I'm talking about, with the rubber glove and the Vaseline. When that one, it's like, really, dude. You can't bring in somebody else. I don't want you doing it. Bring somebody else in. We spent an hour arguing about him having to do something that, and I literally make appointment with the other doctor when it's time to do that when he's not around, because that's how close we are. That I don't want him doing that exam. All right, I'm starting to lose you because I'm starting to ramble. See? All All right. Matthew Adams, thanks for joining me, and I really appreciate you being here. Again, Matthew Adams, ask me the questions because this is how I'm learning. I'm learning to become more of an expert because of all your questions, because I try to make sure that Matthew and I are together on the chat if we're doing it in Messenger. That way his answer I can read and know. So you can do that. Don't hesitate to message me, and I'll just include Matthew in the discussion, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to, Matthew is the guy, and he will be a guy I will be relying on to give me more information about what it is we're talking about. All right, so I can see that we've lost a couple people because I started about talking about inappropriate exams. All right, so that's it for me. I really appreciate you guys coming on and listening to me ramble. But the reason I'm here is to just share with you some stuff that's working, and I'm hoping that if you decide to take it, that it'll work for you. All right, that's it for me. I'll talk to you later. Bye.